Good evening. A warm welcome to you all. So I'm super excited. I have a very special, gorgeous lady who you're going to meet in a moment. But before I introduce her, she's backstage right now. I just want to set the stage for what's happening tonight. Please, in the chat, let me know where you're from. Any questions you have tonight, please do let us know, because that makes it much more exciting. So the big question is, and as I go in here, are you ready for an amazing 2025? So how many of you had an awesome 2024? How many of you? Yeah? Hand halfway up. How many of you think, I can't wait for this year to go by? I'm ready for the new year. For me, it's been a roller coaster. It's been one of the most challenging years of my career. So what do you do when you have all these challenges? I believe that some of the setbacks are a setup for what you're going to do next in your life. But tonight we want to look at how you can set yourself up for whether it's tomorrow being your new day, or whether it be welcoming a new year, and how can you make some new habits stick so that you can take them through and have a better year than possibly the year you've already had. So what I know that's really quite interesting is that 70% of new clients did not return to the salon. This is a new statistic and a new finding, which is pretty amazing. But part of that statistic that we're looking at right now, I believe also is connected to approximately 70% of women are wearing their hair long. And how many of you have clients who come back on a regular basis with long hair? How many of you? 2 months, 3 months, twice a year, once a year? So maybe that statistic about 70% of clients not coming back is kind of connected to the huge wave of long hair that we truly are enjoying. And obviously, we all love long hair, but it's not for everybody. And sometimes we're brainwashed by a sea of long hair. And how has long hair changed your business model? And we're going to bring Vicky in a little bit just to kind of find out how she's embracing that. But tonight, I'm going to do a demonstration for you. And I'm going to do, I think, 4 looks. 4 looks if it goes well. If it doesn't go well, I'll be showing you 1 look. But no, she's all ready. She's ready for you. She looks like, she looks scary. She looks really scary. But anyway, she's the next one up. So I want to just talk to you about long hair and face shape and a sensibility before we get into the first look that we're going to do today. So when I'm looking at long hair, and I take a study at this, because when you have a shadowed top and the color is coming through almost level with the eye, and the volume is beneath the cheekbone and dropping down, clearly it's really, really good for the face shape that has the triangle, because the head is wide at the top, so it can be shadowed down to reduce the size. The face shape of the triangle, the inverted triangle, is narrow in the jaw, so all of this hair around the jawline fills it up. Because the ultimate goal of what we're trying to do is create the oval face shape, which is the perfect balance and proportion. So therefore, when I take my triangle that's inverted, wide here, narrow here, I'm going to shadow here, make it small there because the head is bigger, and therefore I'm going to balance with a very tiny jawline. But let's talk about squares. A square, if you elongate it a little tiny bit and you close down the sides a little bit, you're going to take away from the width and the volume. So what I do with every single person, I always vogue around the face. And what does that mean? I lift, I open, I shape my hands around the face, or I shape the hair so that I can look to find my oval face shape and my balance. But it's so much more than just the face shape, because it's also about how sensual is this look going to be. And in this particular case, you can see that she has a little bit more of that bohemian vibe going on, or that hippie vibe, I should say, which is really quite lovely. But then let's move on from there. And then let's look at the opposite, glamorous, polished. So tonight I'm going to show you a little bit of this, and we're going to go on this lovely journey, because what I want to do tonight is show you hairstyles with long hair. I want to show you tonight opportunities that possibly you're missing, because we said at the beginning of this show, 70% long hair. Do your long hair clients know that you can do these gorgeous hairstyles? Do your long hair clients know that they could have a totally different look? And guess what? It's a design without any commitment, because she can brush it out. I promise you, and I'm sure there's lots of gorgeous ladies here tonight with long hair. Don't you want something fun and new? Yes, you're saying, but I don't want it cut off, Viv. So that to me is very, very important. What are we doing to promote styling and designing on long hair? What are we doing to share this idea with our clients? Do we have visuals? Do we have a mannequin with a nice relaxed hairstyle? What are we actually doing to promote? And are we sort of in a trap where everyone's getting the same beach curl and they're going out? And there's so much more to dressing hair than a beach curl, which I hope to show you tonight. So when we look at this lovely lady here, this hairstyle is really good on a round and a square face. So a side parting is very, very flattering, because you get the diagonal line going across. With the round face, you're stretching it out, and the asymmetry. The asymmetry on a round and the asymmetry on a square are always very, very, very flattering for this hairstyle. So clearly she's glamorous. Clearly she is very much more sexy, and there's a boldness. When she walks into the room, eyes will turn. And there are women that want to be seen, and there are women that would just like to kind of slip into the room and be invisible. It's our job as the detective to know which one we should be doing, right? So what we have here is another example of a soft wave, which is more bohemian. So what I'm going to do tonight is show you an in-between. I'm going to show you something glamorous, then I'm going to take you into bohemian, and I'm going to show you hairstyles that are predominantly down, because the moment it all goes up, it starts to look more formal, unless of course it's a ponytail, which always seems to work. A ponytail is always great. But before we get into this look, let's actually bring in our lovely Vicky, who's here. And hi, Vicky.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. So Vicky is an incredible stylist. She's a member of my team now. We met through my online education. Was so impressed with Vicky's energy, pizzazz, and passion for the craft. I said, will you join me? And she's just won an award from Wella. So tell everybody what you did.
I won gold for North American Color Transformation of the Year. So that was awesome. I chased it for a long time, and I finally got it.
Congratulations. Congratulations. So that's really lovely. So when did you last have someone ask for the Medusa look?
Like 20 years ago.
Yeah. So I have clearly Medusa here, and I'm going to transform her. She is a palm up, palm down vertical set, which is really lovely. And of course, I want to say hi to Nicole, Lisa, Lindsay's here in the house.
My salon owner's in the house.
Perez, great to see you. So any questions you have, fire away. I'm going to go and start styling this hairstyle. So I'm using just a wide tooth comb to come through here and just look at how this breaks up. And I'm just going to go to full screen so you can see, but Vicky is going to be in our background talking to us. So let's just go on what we're doing here. So this was palm up, palm down. So the number one thing about any set is product. What is the product that you are using? Because when we're looking at the product, we want obviously high performance. So we've got here a very nice wave. Let me bring that back so you can see. And let me bring that down so that you can see that more. And so I do a product test. I want to evaluate how is the hair going to perform. when I'm doing this type of work, I've got to ask myself, what is the longevity of what I'm doing? Is it going to last a moment, or does it have to last longer than that? And here, what I actually did in this area here is I gave a lift at the root, which was a barrel curl, and then from there, I actually went back into the beach kind of curl methodology, so to speak. So I've got a lovely wave through here, and let's talk about how we can take this through and really create a wonderful look. So blow drying the hair is very important. I'm going to come in here first of all and just blow dry the roots down a little tiny bit, because I want to make sure from every angle, I want it to be flatter here, and I want the height at the front. I want that sort of shape. And I want this to be small through here. So I'm going to first of all come in, and I use my comb a lot to blow dry and create that smoothness, especially at the roots. So Vicky, I know that you've been learning a lot. Vicky's been in our hair designer program. She's been in our editorial program, but we've been working on finishing skills, and we use the comb quite a bit, don't we, in our styling?
Yes, we do. And I never really realized, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I never really realized that you could change the parting or change the direction of the root with just your comb and your blow dryer. So that was kind of a big learn.
Yeah, yeah. So a little bit of hairspray here. I'm just going to come around through position and then bring that in, back, getting stuck on my hairspray, back, around, and then gently through to get that nice lift through there. Very important to have a blow dryer that's very soft. It doesn't have a high power as you're working through there. So I've got this lovely movement here. So when I'm looking at the kind of lift that I want in through here, and then this direction of how this is going to fall forwards, I've got to really work on my really super shaping, right? As I'm coming through here and making sure that that's really nice. So right there, it seems very straight, which I'm not loving. So I've got to either tease it or put my iron in there and get that shape coming through a little bit nicer. So let's see, I'm going to put my iron on and just put a little tiny bit more of a bend in there, because until you brush out your set, you really don't know what you're going to be getting. As I mentioned, I like to do a test strand first of all. And let's just ask in the chat, how many of you have promotional pieces to show your client the scope and the diversity of your dress work and styling skills to promote and give your client a reason to return and come into the salon? Let's just see how many of you. So Vicky, do you?
Yes, so I try to show different style on my Instagram. I try to show, different textures. I have a segment on my Instagram that's like styling tips and tricks to just show them different ways to curl their hair, things to look out for, tips and tricks to get that perfect curl.
Okay. And what is the response that you get from that?
My styling tips and tricks videos are the ones that do the best. They get the most views. People are always looking for quick, easy ways and just little tips and tricks to make it easier, to make it better for them at home.
Yes, yes, yes. Excellent.
You talk a little bit about your product test in the nape, because I don't think enough people do that. And sometimes we just go through the whole set and then it doesn't hold properly. So I think that's kind of an important little trick too.
Yes. So when I'm doing my product evaluation, I do a little bit of a hairspray and I will use my iron. So just before I get into that, can you see I am actually finger waving in here to get my wave pattern happening. So I'm just getting that nice there. And then here, of course, it's tangling. So that's going to pull out my wave if I'm not careful. So I've got to get this sorted before I go on further. And then I will come back and yes, I will explain that. So in here, I'm going to come through and I'm going to just make my shape happen through there. And what I have to do is position. So the best way of doing that is taking a little clip here, oops, to get that lift, a little clip in here to secure this position. Then in here, I've got to bring that around. So what I'm doing actually is a dry finger wave. And I'm going to pull this whole thing apart in a moment. It's not going to stay like this. So I'm going to come through here and then just again look at my wave pattern. So when I'm checking my product and I'm checking the performance of what's going on, I am looking at what is the longevity. I'm looking at how hard am I having to work in order to get that performance. So I'm taking many things into consideration as that is happening. And so those are all key things that I'm looking for as I'm working through what I'm doing. So what you can see through here is that I've got that wave pattern starting to happen through there. So I comb back, I comb forwards, I comb back in my typical finger wave pattern. The other thing I'm going to do in here is put a little tiny bit of oil into the hair to, again, just get the hair happy and excited about some shine. And then I'm going to pull this apart. So as I'm coming through here, the shine part of this is very important. And always working into your mirror, always looking at how is that looking when I'm looking this way. That's another really important thing. So let me just lower my camera a little tiny bit so you can see her. Right. So I'm just going to come into here as well. Now I didn't want to put oil into the very front part because I was worried that that may be a problem to style. So once I've got this here sorted, I'm then going to come in and start to pull this apart. So obviously the important thing about this look is the set. And so we've got this nice movement coming through here, which is lovely. The oil, I think, works really, really, really well. Now we hairspray it. We use the diffuser a little tiny bit, and then we pull it apart. So there is my wave in there. That's a piece that I'm not a fan of right now, but we'll see what it's going to do. So what I would do then is from the here where it's snug and it's structured, I'm going to take a photograph. So I'm going to look at this hair through here this way, I'm going to tuck this back behind here, and I'm going to take a photograph and just determine how does this look, and is it too tight and too snug? Do I have enough movement in here, or what else do I want to do? So I come in and I take that photograph and I let the camera be my teacher. So I put my image on portrait. I come in and take my shot. And I can then evaluate and say, right, what do I like about this? What can I change and what can I do? So now I'm going to take this away. And now, having kind of set this into place, I'm going to pull it apart. And this kind of glam effect, I go back in here now and take another photograph. And now I can do a comparison between what I just did and where I'm going right now. So when I compare to, oops, Am I now? That's how she's evolving, but that's where she was. So you can see like it's starting to evolve and come to life because of the wave. So now I'm going to start to ruffle it a little tiny bit. And even just some finger teasing in here to just open her out a little tiny bit. And the same through here, just some finger teasing. And it's almost like it has a little bit more life within it when you do this type of effect. So you can see she's starting to really come to life. And then in here again, you would come in and again from the underneath, a little finger tease. And don't overwork it. So what we have is our gorgeous wave through the very front, which gives it its drama, that C shape through there, around the eyebrow, around the cheekbone and down. That's kind of like your money piece, so to speak, getting that little part right in there. And then from there, drawing that in and getting that nice movement. And then you can start to just move it around. And this is what I mean about voguing around the face. When you're looking at your shape and you're saying, right, what would happen if I made this more snug? What will happen if I pull that apart? What will happen if I scrunch more oil? I'm always like curious to know. So the success of this is the product and the set, the using of the comb versus a ball bristle brush, recognizing that when I took it out from there, I had a barrel curl, and then I transitioned into palm up, palm down, and it went a bit dodgy right in there. So simplicity is really quite lovely. So that's our first little girl, and I hope you like her. So in the palm up, palm down, when I'm taking the hair, I go palm up, palm down, and I wrap. Palm up, palm down, and I wrap. And I do that all the way around the hairstyle. Vicki, any questions?
No, it just looks beautiful. And I'm happy that you explained the palm up, palm down to get these beautiful glam waves.
Yeah, okay, so off she goes. So she went from Medusa to not tonight, Josephine, right?
Carpet.
So let's talk about this look. It's the same kind of idea, but even looser, and the center parting changes everything. The moment you pop in a center parting, again, really good on a round and a square, elongation and stretch. The parting in the center gives you that length, but it also puts the focus on the nose. And what we have with both of these faces, we have volume. So we can close it down a little bit, and it works really well. So she's bohemian, she is sensual, she's a creative lady, which is all really, really gorgeous, right? So I just showed you this look, and you can see that when you make it smaller versus when you make it bigger, you get a really pretty effect. So we did this. So take a screen capture, my friends, so you have a reference for what we did tonight. So let's go backwards for a moment. Having these photographs, having a mannequin with this look, having this on your social media feed, talking about romance, talking about glamour, talking about dressing up, feeling beautiful, it has to be more of a story. You just can't say, oh, well, we're just going to put a curling iron through your hair. No, no, no. Sell me a story. Do you want to feel like, you know, a goddess, whatever it may be? But you want to describe the power of being glamorous, the power of that sensual look. You want to get the clients excited about it versus, well, I could always put a curling iron in your head. That you don't want. Hi, Kathleen. Good to have you here. Nicole, I already said hi. Phyllis, good to have you. All right, so now let's move on to our next look. I already mentioned with this lovely lady, with the hairstyle we just did, the face shape that it works very well for. So let's just before we go too far away from this, let me just bring some clarity. The triangle, the right way up, is often described a pear. So this hairstyle would be really great because it gives the height and the volume at the top. It makes the top of the head where the triangle is narrow, it gives it more volume. And then you can narrow down in front of the heavy jawline and you can actually slim down. So it's a good balancer. For around, you're stretching around out. And guess what? When you stretch around, what do you get?
An oval.
You get an oval. You get an oval. You know, my husband said to me, he said, you don't need to have anything done to your face, because I was going through one of those whinging, I need something done, right? And so he said, you don't need anything done with your face. He said, when you're laying down, you look really young. I said, yeah, but the problem is when I stand up.
Stop.
Blah, 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 blah. I'm going to start doing hair laying down, my friends. That would be really good, right? Okay, so let's bring out the next girl.
You know what? I had an interesting question actually at a class a while ago, and it was about face shape. And it was one of the young girls, and she said, "Why do we have to make everybody look oval? What if I like her round face and I want to make her round face look round?"
And absolutely true. Absolutely true. You can. But I promise you, if you oval the round, she looks even more gorgeous because it's the science. This is not an opinion. She has an opinion. I respect it. And I bet that person looked adorable.
Mm-hmm.
But in a photograph, she'll look even rounder because a photograph flattens the face and therefore you lose depth and therefore you become wider, which is why sometimes we don't like our work in photography because we lose the depth of the hairstyle. So that's one thing. The other thing is that when you balance the science of proportion, it goes back in our DNA from millions of years. Human beings like symmetry and proportion because it defines that we're healthy. It actually goes back into a very primitive DNA study. So we are drawn to it. And when you look at the mathematical proportion of the geometry, oval is the perfect balance. So that round face will still be round, but a little tiny ovaling out will make it look even more beautiful. Because I guarantee, I've done this test so many times, taking a face that's a pear face and making it look really pear, taking the pear face and making it look oval, every single time everyone goes to the oval. I've never had anyone go to the other. And I did this test with the celebrities and it was just like, wow, that's amazing. So Medusa number 2. I got my piece of paper here telling me what I'm going to do. I drew it. What is it? Okay, it's my bohemian, and I'm going to sew her. All right, and she's got hair. She's got hair that she's going to have. And before I go there, let me just show you. I'm just going to go to the full screen. This is going to have this in there, right? It's got a wire thing. But what I want to show you is this girl here. I'm in dolly heaven.
And they're also beautiful. I don't know how you did that.
Oh, really? So you see this nice sewing effect. You see how pretty that sewing effect is? I love this for half up, half down. So I'm going to show you a variation of this. So just for example, client comes in, you're just going to do a very soft movement. You have the half up, half down, and in here, you do this really pretty sewing effect. That is a good example. So we've gone from that pretty wave, putting the finger wave in, the great set, into something really, really simple like that. So I'm going to show you now how to do the sewing. Off you go, darling. So the next thing I'm going to do is comb this out and put this somewhere.
I thought you were going to put it on your own head.
Don't know where to hang it. Oh, what did I have? All right, let's just stick it there. All right. Good. Okay, so let's talk about this then. It's the same set as I did on my previous mannequin. The palm up, palm down, and you can see I've got a nice wave through here. I'm using my wide tooth comb. I love this comb. I use it for so many different things. And obviously the comb is more gentle on combing the hair out than a brush would be. Doesn't mean I shouldn't use a brush, but I like to start, often what I'll do in this type of work, I'll start with my fingers, then I will go into the comb, and then I will see if the brush is a good idea. So I'm going to put some oil into the hair right now because it needs it. And I put oil in almost everything. I should have an investment in a vineyard somewhere. No, not a vineyard. What am I saying?
Wants to know where you got that comb, Viv.
Where did I get that comb? I don't know.
I have that comb too, and I love it. And I think I got mine from Sally.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So any questions in the chat?
Just where did we get the comb? Everyone's saying hi and how beautiful your waves are.
All right, so now we've got this here, and still we've got Medusa going on. So what I did in this area, and I don't know whether this was a really good idea or not, because when you look at the top, you'll see all this nice texture that's coming in through here. But I barrel curled the top, and then I did a spiral around that. So again, I've got this nice texture in here. So the first thing I will do is I'm going to run my fingers through the hair and and just see how it is just running my fingers through the hair. Like, is that going to perform? That's what I want to see. It's just now when I am designing, I want to sort of show you the hairdresser's reality versus what the client sees. So most of us live like here. We're in this zone here working, an aerial view, right? But the reality is when I come back here and I look at my shape this way, that's how the client is going to see me. So this is our perspective, but the client's perspective is, let me just make that, oops, make sure you can really see that. Oops, there's the client's perspective there. And so when we spend ages looking this way at the detail, we are actually missing the big picture. So we've got to be able to go backwards and forwards all the time, the big picture and the detail. And my design decisions are not made when I'm looking at aerial view. My design decisions are made when I'm looking into the mirror and I'm going, right, how does that work? So that's what I'm doing through there. So let me just move her forward a little bit. This section through here is going to come back. So I'm going to put in quite a lot of oil just to really get it separated and get as much definition as possible. This is coming down, everything else is down, and this is going to come back. So before I get carried away, that's where that's going to go. But now I'm going to put in the hair. So I know that this is going to go through here, but now I'm going to put that hair in before I forget. So I'm going to, this is on a halo, but I'm not going to use that. That's going to get in the way. What I want to do is just put this in through here and then blend the hair together. So I'm going to take a section underneath here, and this is a mannequin with a little head, so I know that this piece is going to be a little bit too big, but that's okay, I'm just faking it. So there's my section there. Now generally when I'm using these that have the clip, as the clip in them, I would be teasing the section here so that this can clip into it and be locked. That's quite secure. So now when I come around through here, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to come through, and on top of the head, I'm going to tease and then put my clip in.
Where did you get the halo, Viv?
Actually, I got this from Amazon, but usually when I'm buying things like this, I go to a wig store and get them. I love going to the hair shop. They have fantastic human hair, fantastic pieces, but this was very inexpensive. And I actually bought it because we were doing a boot camp, and I needed to have some hair for the class, and I thought, well, let's just get that. But it's actually quite nice hair. Well, it's not real, it's fake. But there it is there. So now on this section here, I'm going to do the same thing back home. Then I've got to integrate this so that it doesn't look like she's wearing hair extensions. You know, last week I had to do a jury service. I've never done that before. And I'm thinking, oh, please don't pick me. Please don't pick me. You know, like when it's a raffle or anything like that, you're thinking, please let my name come up, right? But this, it was like, please don't pick me. And these ladies, there were two female lawyers there, and they were wearing the worst hair extensions I've ever seen. And I thought, if they pull me up, I'm going to say, I'm sorry, I can't be objective because I can't get over your really bad hair extensions. And I just sat there thinking, don't pick me, and they didn't, thank goodness. Right. So
you got out of it.
I got out of it.
Perfect.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm now going to run my fingers through this hair here. I want this to be a little undone using my mirror. And I'm going to come through here and then just comb this into place this way. So I'm going to turn her around in a second, but I just need to get this right in here. So I'm going to just draw the line this way. And now what I'm going to do is actually clip across the front here, across the back. So I can step away from my work, that I can come eye level and pull this apart so it's not perfect. Make sure everything's in position now. And then I'm going to sew this. So I have here a needle and a thread. This is my needle. This, my thread, is a double thread. I'm now going to look from profile and look at where should my line be. Should it be there or should it be lower? And I think it could come right through there. What do you think, Vicki?
Yes, I think so.
All right, so I'm going to go down to the scalp. And let me turn around so that you can see this aerial view. I'm going to go down to the scalp, thread this needle through the thread, and just lock that into place. Make sure that's nice and secure. And I'm just going to do a visual check in the mirror. That's good. So here we go. I'm going to come in and I'm going to loop through. Now, if you have the thread too short, it's a problem because you're going to be going backwards and forwards trying to get more thread, and that's not a good idea. What's going on? What happened?
You got a little tangled.
It did. It got tangled on my knot. Ooh, what's happening? Oh, hold on.
So I just did a video about holiday trends this year, and ribbons and bows in the half up, half downs are really good.
Yes.
I was thinking this would be awesome to just even weave ribbon through it or to sew ribbon through it.
Yeah, and I've done that before, and clearly I've got caught on my knot, which, oh, there it goes. There we go. So this knot slipped through. That's a good thing. That's not a good thing to have happen. Right, there we go. There's two done. It's like watching paint dry, isn't it? Right, so the next one is going to come through here, and I'm going to do the same thing again. This should look so effortless. And I got caught on the knot again. Gee, this knot is being really naughty. Oh man, talk amongst yourself, friends. Okay, I'm going to start all over again. When it's not working, why fight it, right?
Yeah, and it's super easy to just take out.
Yeah, yeah. So this is it going wrong. Beautiful. Oh, now you get to see what it's like when you comb it out. Okay, got right out. Right. So note to self, hold the knot, otherwise it slides through and you get into that pickle. So I'm going to start again. Unfortunately, I have one all ready to go, and this time I'm going to hold this knot. Right, here we go. That was a rehearsal. Let's make sure now I'm still in the right place. So again, I'm going to come through. I'm going to thread through, and I am holding my knot. Note to self, hold the knot and let the knot be in the right place. Hallelujah. Oh gosh. Now you're going to see me move so fast. And you're going to say, Viv, I've got some trousers you could alter.
When you loop the second knot, are you going like back through the first one, or are you going through a different section of hair?
I'm never going back into the previous. So I'm just looping through each time and gliding through that way. So you can see there. So let me just zoom in so you can see this a little closer. Forgive me, I'm a one-trick pony here. Let's go. Oop, let's go closer. There we go. There we go. Now you can see it a bit better, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, look, the knot came here. Did I just knot it? Oh, I just did. Okay, that was an accident. There we go. All right, I'm back on track. I'm going to stay really focused. This should be done and dusted in 5 minutes. You know, you see these amazing TikTok videos, right? You just see the magic occur. Look at me. This is reality, friends. This is not edited. This is like, oh God, that just went so horribly wrong. But isn't it good to see how you respond? I mean, I laugh.
As you should. Getting upset doesn't help.
No, you know, upset never solves anything, to be honest. And when I think of all the hairstyles I've been upset with, and it's also the other thing that I realized is so disempowering is when we make excuses. You know, the client won't let us, the hair was difficult. We make excuses, and there's such a big difference between an excuse and a reason. And an excuse means we get ourselves off the hook. Well, it was the client's fault and we're not responsible. But when we say, well, the reason this didn't work is X, Y, Z, and I'm now going to be really resourceful and learn from that mistake, now that mistake is actually a blessing and it's a gift. And that's what makes it really magical, I think. So I'm really catching myself now and saying, don't be naughty, you know, get it right. And if you don't get it right, have a laugh about it. All right, there you go. That's that. So you can see we've got that nice effect through there. And there she is in the front. Ooh. Oh, she's all right, right? Oh,
No,
oh,
she's all right. Maybe that piece you just pulled out a little.
oh my God, what did they just do? Oh, well, just make it bigger, right? Closer to God.
Exactly, exactly. I think that's one thing you really taught me. I was always really hard on myself, and you always said, "Vicky is just a shampoo away from a changeover.
Yeah, that's
Rather than
right.
getting upset, find another way." And that's what I do now. I just find another way. If it's not working, oh well, do it another way.
Yeah, yeah, and that's so powerful. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cast off. I'm going to put my thread through, and I'm going to do another knot. There we go. And now I'm going to cut it off. So isn't this a nice way of just doing a little dress effect? So now we've got these hair extensions that look totally ridiculous. Hold on. Oh, I've got to get up higher so you can see. So let's talk about blending all of this together here because it looks ridiculous right now. So I'm going to raise her up higher. I've got so much oil on my hands, I'm slipping and sliding here. All right. Up we go. There we go. So she looks ridiculous, right?
Rapunzel, Rapunzel.
Rapunzel, Rapunzel. It's way, 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 way too long. So I'm going to come in through here and make the length more appropriate. So from here, I'm going to try with these scissors, first of all. These are sliding scissors. So the razor can sometimes be a bit tricky in hair like this. And I'm going to be really, really crude about coming in here and just breaking into this length and just sliding through. And I want to blend the two together. So I'm going to do some twisting and just blend through and just make sure that it starts to look a little bit more realistic. And in a way, the rawer you are about this, the better it is because you want it to, even in the actual hair itself, you want to just make sure it all fades away. I call it aging of the hair. So obviously that is really ridiculous. And here is starting to have more shape. And obviously I need more in here. So I'm just sliding through with the scissors and creating that texture. So I'm curious to know with this hair, how would it be with the razor? And we'll find out in a moment. So again, you want it to not look too perfect. It's got to look realistic. Otherwise, all bets are off. So that's starting to look better than that one length side. So now I'm going to go on the other side and I'm going to try the razor and see if the razor does work well or not. So on this side here, oh, yeah, it does. So razoring through to create that softness. Sometimes the razor doesn't work very well on synthetic hair. So when I'm going through and I'm aging the hair, that means that I want the hair to be not one length. I want it to have the age attached to what the real hair would be like. Not, when you've got real hair, it's not all hanging in a certain volume because it's 1 year old, 5 years old, 10 years old, whatever. Here, I'm just going to bring this together, flip this around. So this would be the speed I'd be working at if I was on a photo shoot. Like, the client has asked for longer hair. I got to quickly get this done. And obviously in the salon, you're going to go a little bit slower because this could really frighten a client. Going in this aggressively. It's like when people say, oh, when you're going to go in with thinning scissors, you better warn the client. These are thinning scissors as you go into the hair and like whack, right? So, it's amazing how much you have to take out in order for this to look realistic. And the best way is this random way, because if you try and be too precious about it, it's not going to work as well. Does that make sense?
Yes. You want it to look more lived in.
Yeah, yeah. So should she go shorter? Probably a bit shorter. So let's just bring her up a bit more. And then we're going to go into our next hairstyle. So this will be my kind of boho meets a little tiny bit of glam. I love this when it's coming off of the face in this way because it's just really soft and really, really pretty. The random of sliding through in this abstract manner. These are Hikari scissors, and they are actually scissors for gliding into the hair. And they work really well. So I'm just taking both sides together, a 2-for-1. And now start to kind of like pull it apart a little bit. So that's really quite a difference between where we were and where we are right now. Would you agree or no?
Absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
much better.
So any questions that you have or anything you'd like to share with our friends about what we're doing tonight? We started off this presentation talking about 2025. What is it going to be for you? How are you going to be different to what you did this year? I'm curious to know how many people in the chat had a great 2024 and how many of you think, I can't wait for it to go because it was not an easy year. And what would make it an amazing year? What would make 2025 an amazing year? What would that be for you, Vicky?
A few things. To travel and do more editorial work would be amazing. To just really push myself, to raise my standard, to get better at what I do. I just want to be the best version of me and the best version of my hairstylist.
Beautiful. And next year you're coming to do our photographic workshop, which is amazing.
I am so excited. Yeah, I couldn't miss out this time. After all the work from last time, I really needed to be a part of it. And this is your last one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So guys, if you want to do the photographic workshop, join Vicky. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's taking place next year in April. I just lost the guard to this. Oh well. I'm going like a bat out of hell here.
Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that was a great movie, wasn't it?
It was.
So in here, obviously, I've got a little bit of a color deviation going on, but what I want to do is just break into this. So this, I am a technical hairdresser, but not today, because if I try and approach this technically, it's never going to look organic and natural. It's just not going to happen. So that will maybe freak the client out, but this was way too long. Even Rapunzel would have said, "Come on, baby." That's ridiculous. And obviously you can tease into it and just really break up that surface. So why am I doing it this way? The hair's coming off quicker than the razor. And usually with my hair extension work, I use the razor, but in this case, no, it actually works better not being like that. So now what I'm going to do is just calm this down and just make sure that everything is flowing through. And I'm going to put a little bit of water into it just to calm it down a little bit.
Lisa said her year was pretty great. She worked less, earned more, traveled, and she's looking forward to 2025. That's great, Lisa.
Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. Do you see anything that I should change, Vicky?
I think she looks gorgeous.
Thank you. So that kind of shows you kind of like the vibe of that sort of soft and undone. What's this? I don't know. You should cut that off too. Like, now measure this, Vivian. Oh, well. Actually, it is kind of the same. Yeah, so then we've got our integration. So what we've got now is the hair extension in there. We've got the nice little bit of sewing going on in there. and she looks really pretty cool all the way through. So I hope you like that. Yeah.
She looks beautiful.
Yeah, and the top worked out really well. And again, a really great set. So that's the important thing about that. So we're now going to go back and we're going to, so again, just to sort of show you our girls, short and a long one. There they are.
Pretty.
I should say to a client, listen, if I pull it nice and tight, I can give you a facelift. So that means it'll be even more money. Right, so next. What's up next? So what we're going to do next is look at how we can now take these hairstyles to that next level. So obviously I showed you with the hair hanging down, but I just wanted to show you this reference. Again, is hair half up, half down, and just the sewing idea. So it's about a great set and creating that lovely sewing, which is really important. So when I'm designing, again, face shape is so critical. Here you can see we've got our triangle. The volume is in the jaw. If we build the top of the head, we create that oval, and that's what makes that look really, really super. So I'm now going to show you something. I practiced it yesterday. It's on the paper. Got to look at it for a second. Right. Right. So this will either be brilliant or it won't. So let's take this little clip out. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a braid, and I'm going to just lower her down a little tiny bit so that you can see that. Let's make sure that here it's good view. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to do 3 strands. No, 2. Is it 2 strands I'm doing? Oh, it's 2 strands. Yeah, is it 2 strands? Oh my gosh, I don't know what I did. I think it was 2. Yeah, I think it was 2. So it was 2 strands. And I went over. And I went over. Then I went over. So yes, it's a fishtail. So here, I'm going over and into my fishtail and joining. So it always looks weird in the beginning. So I'm just now going to go over onto the other side, and I only have 2 sections in my hands, 2 sections. So now I'm going to go over onto the other side, and then over, and then add. And I'm going to stop and just look at that just to see how that's playing out. And that's quite nice. So it's not going to be flat to the head. So as I'm coming over here, again, the 2 strands, and then over. So continuing to take it over and into the center or the other side. So remember, you've only ever got 2 strands going on. So Vicky, any questions coming through or anything that you'd like to comment on or inspire us?
I just wanted to comment on the valleys and peaks because you taught us how important dimension is in a do. So if you want to touch up a little bit on that.
Okay, so a valley and a peak, I've still got 2 sections, barely.
Without messing up your braid.
Yeah, without messing up my braid. A valley and a peak gives you the depth and the dimension. And so that's a really important part of any style, especially in the world of when you're creating hairstyles that are a little abstract. That's a very important part of the whole equation. So you can see here it's still coming through quite well. I will, as I mentioned, I will pull this apart a little bit. So what happens is I take a little piece of the hair and then I take it over onto the opposite side. I still only have 2 sections. So what happens is I take from this side, I take a piece of hair with it and I take it over. And what I've got to do is remember to look this way, because in this way here, I've got to look at how this is playing out and the softness that I'm creating as I'm coming through here. If I only look here, I don't see my shape. And this, if nothing else tonight, this is the biggest thing I can share that I teach all the time with our live events. If I spend my life here, I have no idea about the shape. I have to be able to step back and look at that big picture as I'm working through, because obviously this is just the detail, and the detail is not the shape. So that's really important. And the valleys and the peaks that you're asking about, they're going to come in a moment, because I'm going to be creating some valleys and peaks in here as we're going through. So here I'm taking over from this side and I'm adding. I've got to be careful of how far away from the head my hand is moving. I've got to make sure that this is going to come over. Again, only 2 sections, and I'm going to drop that through. And then I'm going to now take this to the center, and I'm going to now braid this through as a solo braid. So I'm going to, what happened? So now I'm going to come through here and I'm going to go into the middle. And I'm going to go into the middle and into the middle. Or I say middle, over to the other side, I mean. See, up and over. This is a very quick way of doing it. Thumb up and over. So what's happening is finger over, over, over. And I still only have 2 sections. Over, over, all the way through. And then when I get down to the end here, I will tie it in an elastic band. But the band may come out. So just pop that into an elastic band for now. And so I'm going to be pulling this apart. I'm also planning on adding hair to this. So this is only part of the story. But before I go any further, I've got to look at my shape and look at how I can gently pull this apart and use my mirror. And again, into my mirror and making sure that as I do this, I'm looking at the big picture.
And putting depth in all the right places.
Yes, yeah. So you were asking about the valleys and peaks. Valleys and peaks are part of the depth, right? They're part of that whole process. And it's the gentleness and the mindfulness of going through here so that you create this nice effect. And then obviously being mindful of the silhouette through there so it doesn't get too high on the top, and just really pulling it apart a little tiny bit. So I see something weird. I'm going to pull that apart too. Right, so that's part 1. So now the next part is going to be coming through here, and I'm going to actually take the braid backwards this way, and I'm going to do another fishtail. So coming through and 2 sections, and then adding over and over into the middle, and then adding. So Vicky, you've been through the hair designer program and you're getting close to graduating. Tell our friends about the hair designer program.
I'm sad. I don't want it to end. It's incredibly changed my life. It's changed everything about the way I do everything, um, posture, the way I hold things. I learned how to razor properly, to stand my client up in the mirror to make sure that it matches her overall look, her body type, her face shape, to use my mirror more, to step back more, to look at the big picture. It's literally changed my entire everything. And it's not just a cutting and styling and finishing course, it's also changes your mindset. It changes your mindset, it changes your perspective. It just brought joy back to my career.
And how much have you increased your prices?
I've increased them twice, maybe three times actually, since I've started with you in the last 2 years. I'm making significantly more. When I first joined Vivian, I was pretty burnt out after COVID. I really wanted to quit, and I wasn't making good money. I was not happy, and I'm doing way better now. So thank you for that.
And I think the magic sauce for the program is that we see each other every week.
Yeah. And that we're a part of a community. We all have each other's back. So it's not even just Vivian, it's everybody else who's on my Tuesday class. And we all help each other out. We all are there to support each other. We talk about daily life things together. Um, it changes your confidence. It changes your self-esteem. It changes how you show up in the world and how you show up behind your chair and how you show up for your clients.
Yes, yes. And what we now are doing, the hair designer program, and I'll talk to you a little bit about it later on. The hair designer program is a year of, we meet every week, and it's the fastest year of your life.
Literally.
And it is. And because we meet each week, the changes that we make are baby steps, and it becomes manageable so that you can apply it in the salon. And we have people that have been in the program now for 3 years. And it's just amazing. They just love the whole journey. They love the whole experience. So it's pretty amazing. And because it's so successful, we now have applied a live workshop to every single one of our courses. Every single one of the courses, we do a live, the way I am right now. So the only difference would be that you would be on the screen, or I would be watching you, etc. And that would be kind of like the reality of what we would be doing. And it's just so exciting to see. You see, I believe that change happens in baby steps.
It does.
And I also believe that when you're doing that sort of change mindset, if you take a baby step with it, it's manageable, and you can actually apply it for when you're in the salon. So you can see here, I've tied through. Did you see that?
Yes.
I tied through. I'm going to chop that off. No, I'm not. I've tied that through, and now I have this piece through here, and I'm going to slide this down, and I'm just going to now tuck this into the underneath. So the smart thing that I would do, not that I'm that smart, I put my pin through my elastic band, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to harvest and harvest and harvest and slide that baby in there. What happened? Oh, the pin got twisted. Gee, Viv, what's going on tonight? I need a cocktail. Harvest, 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 and slide through. There we go. Right, that still is popping out. All right, let me look at this for a second. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to hoist it more. Right, so now I'm going to do this again. I'm going to go in with this strange pin that keeps crossing. What's up with the pin? You see, I'm going to blame the pin. There we go. So now I have that secure through there. I'm now going to pull this apart so that I have a nice sort of vibe going on. And I must now, again, if I'm looking at this way, let me just raise the camera so you can see. Oh. So when I'm looking this way above, let me just make sure I'm back again. Yeah, there we are. When I'm above, there's my above shot. So when I'm above, I can't see it. When I look this way, I see the shape. So again, hairdresser's reality is above and close. The real reality is this, looking at the shape and really making sure that that balances. So the next thing I'm going to do is make sure from profile that this hairstyle works. So I'm going to pull this apart a little bit more. Oop, too much. And I'm going to come in with a long Japanese pin, and I'm going to sew that into place. And I'm just going to lift that a little tiny bit and just make sure that my silhouette is beautiful.
And what is the shape that you are after on profile?
I want a triangle. So I want the triangle to be there. So this now has to be hidden, clearly. And this, I'm going to add some more hair to this. So I'm going to come up here and put it in my elastic band a little higher. I'm going to make sure that in here, because I want this hair to kind of like hang down. I wanted to see some hair versus it all going away. So now I have these little things here. So this is really cool. So what I actually did is I took a hairpin and I twisted the hair around the hairpin, and you can actually see in here, this is a weft that's been tied around a hairpin. So it's really cool for then pinning into a hairstyle like this, where I can actually just come in here and slot this through. And start to add some more length. I'm going through the elastic band. I'm going to raise it up a little bit so you can see the length. Looks really stupid right now, but it won't do when we're done. Well, it may. And as all things, you've got to know when to stop. You know, is one enough? Would two be even better?
Pretty.
So now I will just take my hairpin and make that snug through here. So this is how I put my pins together. They're on a, call it my angry caterpillar. So here I'm going to just make sure that this is secure, and I pin that in there and then pull this apart. As in all things, you also need to know when to stop. And I think I'm getting really close to Viv stop. And I'm a big fan of stepping away and looking at the shape from the distance. I have to tell you, my work looks its finest a mile away. So we've got that there. So now I need to take some hair and bind it around because it's I feel it needs it. So look, there is the shape there. There is my length. There's a blonde piece in there that I don't like. It's too blonde for this. So then the question would be with this, if I was just to twist this and then bind it, would that make it look more interesting? And it probably would. If I came through here and just twisted that through, it starts to look really quite interesting. So what one can do is obviously take an elastic band and band it. And you can do several bands in there. The long chignon pins are my favorite because they allow you to get an incredible amount of security without overdoing. So I think that's quite interesting. So if I then come through here and do a few more bands, I make it more intentional versus trying to hide the band. It could be quite nice. So again, you make it decorative. So we'll just see if this works. Because at the end of the day, you want this to look as though it's growing out of the client's own head. You don't want to go, oh, wig, oh, hairpiece. You want it to look so real. And then you can start to look at the shape and think about your balance and your proportions. So I think that's actually quite cute like that. Do you like it?
I love it.
Right, so well, thanks. I'm going to put another band in there. And obviously you can bind it, but I think just a couple of more bands make that look good. So as I'm finishing this up, let's just go
Or even
to talk again about the inspiration of half up, half down and how pretty that can look. And I want you to start thinking about how can I promote more dress work from behind my chair and bring in my long hair clients and get them excited about what we're doing. I think that's really important. So here again, there's some nice examples of the variations. You can see the sewing in the nape of the neck and how I just did a little twisty effect. And I was actually going to do that look, but then I came up with this idea, which I thought was actually even more interesting. And then when I'm working here with the with my little ponytail, I can then decide whether I want to do a blunt line or a choppy line. I don't know what is best really. She's just got a blunt line. So anyway, that shows you some other examples, which I hope that you like. So for those of you who don't know, this is been around a long time, which is clearly obvious. And I've been very fortunate to have worked with some of the greatest hairdressers in the world. I really have. And it's been my life's passion to learn from the best, to teach, to share. And it's something that never gets old. It's super exciting to watch somebody like Vicky come into my world and see her world be transformed. And to be perfectly honest, that means more to me than winning an award when I can touch somebody's life and give a transformation. What's really interesting, as I mentioned before, is that we've created video libraries, which are really quite unique because what we do is we watch a video before we show up for a live event. And then when you come to the live event, I'm watching you in action. And the thing is that when you watch things on social media, there's nobody to tell you, oh, you shouldn't have done that or you should do this. There's no feedback. And what I think is critical is watch, do, and then get your feedback. So here, for example, are images from our forum where the stylists post their work, and then I can give them feedback and say, well, it was really lovely, well done, or do it a little differently next time. And that's what makes that super exciting. Wanted to also tell you, big hot news. I just got to see a little bit of a preview of my app that is coming out very, very soon. So we're going to have the link put in the chat so you can join our waitlist page and you can be the very first ones to beta test the app. And it's going to be coming out quite soon, and it will be transforming hairdressers' lives because it's going to transform the consumer's life. super excited about it. So you can check that out. So as I mentioned, our methodology for training now is watch, do, feedback. Watch, do, feedback. So if you'd like to come and be a guest, here is the way you can do that. It's vivianmckinder.com/event, and you can come and be a guest. We only have a few places left because we're getting into the holiday season. So if you want to know what we're doing, for example, next Monday, we're going to do a very powerful presentation that is guaranteed to build your clientele. And my friend Valeria has just put the link in there for the wait list. So grab that, please. So I just would love for you to see my world in action so that you can really go, wow, that's pretty amazing what you're doing. So if you're excited about this, then we would love to see you clearly. And the ways that you can find out about what we're doing and customize it for you, for your world, is number one, you go to the website and you can book a call with us. And during that coaching call, we will listen to who you are, what you're doing, where are you now and where do you want to go? Where is that gap? And if you don't feel that gap, what will happen? Will you be still at the same place this time next year? If we help you close that gap, getting closer to your goals, and we help you with mindset, we help you with technical skills, creative skills, whatever it is that the gap is, we help you get there, and we will custom design something to fit your needs. So as I mentioned, every single one of my products now, from the lowest investment of time and money to my gold level, all have a live event. It's the frequency of the event, and there's more details clearly, but that's what it's about. So if you're saying tonight, you know what, I'm tired of being on my own, I want to be part of a community of hairdressers who love learning, you're my kind of girl or boy. If you say tonight, Viv, I want to be held accountable, I want to go to that next level, you've got to have that goal. And the most important thing is the consistency of showing up and saying, I'm going for it. And when you're part of a group and a community that all feels the same way, it's so inspiring as you go on your journey. So that's what I would say is the huge thing. Vicky, what would you say?
Oh my God, so many things. Yeah, like you have a group of people who are going to hold you accountable. You hold each other accountable. You bounce ideas off each other. I think for me, the biggest thing that really helped me was I wanted to raise my prices, but I felt like I was doing the same thing all the time, and I couldn't see the value in myself in raising prices. And so once I went through this training, now I feel like I probably need to raise my prices again. But you just find such value in everything that you do, and your clients will start to see it too. And the biggest investment you can ever make is on yourself. It's the most important investment. So stop making excuses and do it for yourself. It's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So this is my little girl. She's the leaning tower here. And you can see that let's just raise her up a bit more so you can really see her. Oh, there we go. There we go. So here you can see we had the two-strand fishtail braid that came around, that flows right the way through into the back. And we did a fishtail on this side. I took the hair, tied it through, pulled. It came undone, pulled, pinned it, came undone, pinned it. And then what was left, I used these little doodahs. They don't have a name other than, oh my goodness me, you're a fabulous doodah. Aren't they cool?
Yeah.
You can just sprout them anywhere, right? So these are just really great to make, because all you need to do is get, and this is the kind of things that we teach in our editorial class. We have a huge editorial class where we're currently making some really cool lookbooks so that you can see the vast library. And we've just been gathering all the boot camp and the live events we've been doing. And right now we have 230 pages of images. So clearly we're going to categorize it into ponytails and so on. But I want you to see the vast library that we've created. And we teach how to do things like this in the class, which is a whole lot of fun. And for the editorial class, you show up with this as well in a live event. So you can see how, as this flows through, there's a fluidity of the shape, which is really important, that kind of gliding through, and just the simplicity of that. And truthfully, it could have even more bands going through there to make it even more dramatic on its way. So what I've shown you tonight clearly is the taking from the boho down, well, sorry, the glamorous wave where she was, through to this girl here with their sisters.
I was just going to say they look alike.
Who's the dummy?
Stop.
This is how you look when you have a pole up your ass.
You're hilarious.
So there they are. So hair extensions, they don't look like it. Hair extensions doesn't look like it. So that is it. So I hope tonight we've inspired you, because what I wanted to speak to was the fact that we have so much long hair, which clearly you can see I love working with long hair. But let's give our clients with long hair a reason to come back into the salon, not once a year, not twice a year, but more often. When you're styling their hair, find out a little bit about their social life. Have conversations about, I've been doing some really pretty half up, half down hairstyles. Plant a seed for next time. So this is what you're going to do. I want you next week to take 5 long hair clients and plant a seed of an idea. Next time you come in, I would like to do this, this, and this. You understand that they're bohemian and they're relaxed, so you speak bohemian language. You understand that they're polished and groomed and shiny. You speak polished, glamorous language. You see that they like taking their hair off of their face, but they like to swoosh. Then you'll take their hair off of their face and give them that lovely sophistication and then some relaxation as it falls down. You speak the language of where the client lives. So we have what we call the 3 wheels of fashion. How quiet or loud are the styles? Where do they live in fashion? And what is the femininity of the look? Is it strong and tough? Is it romantic? Is it glamorous? Is it sexy? Glamour, sexy, sensual, romantic, very different from each other. You may have done the most perfect hairstyle, but it is too polished, too glamorous, too tight. And that may be because you don't know how to pin hair in a way to keep the looseness, but have it not fall apart. So these are all important things that we love to go over. What I want you to think of, though, is if you can plant seeds this week, 5 clients, the next thing I want you to do this week is I want you to stand your guest up. After you've done your consultation, and bear in mind, when our Beauty by Design app comes out, oh my gosh, your consultations are going to skyrocket. But what I want you to do is when you do your consultation, stand your guest up and say, I just want to make sure, look away from the mirror. You never want to look at the person. You want to look at them through the mirror and say, I just want to make sure that this hairstyle is going to balance with your body type. You will probably make a different decision about the length that if the client is sitting in the chair with a cape and you're blind, because all you're doing is you're looking here. But what about this underneath? She's not just a head, she's a body and a head, right? So I want you to do that too. So I've given you 2 home plays, but more importantly, there's something magical about coming along on the ride with me. And I know we've got lots of great members here tonight. Please share this with your friends. Please share what we're doing, because when we work together, that's where the transformation takes place. Don't use the excuse of time, because the average American is spending 2 hours a day on social media, which is 14 hours in the week. So if you couldn't show up for a 2-hour class and watch before class 30 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour of a video before class, if you can't take some of that social media time and put it into this, then clearly you're not going to get that sense of growing and transformation. And what I have noticed about time on social media is addictive. There's some amazing things out there. We all salute the great people that are doing wonderful things, but it's their life. It's not your life. You're watching somebody else's life. I'm going to challenge you to watch your own life and see your life be transformed and get the feedback, because feedback is king. When you can measure your progress, you can then start to track the patterns in your life that produce outstanding results. When you are able to be guided, not just by the technique, by the inspiration, the creativity, there's something magical that happens. And I witness it every week because I do these lives every week. The other thing I want to share with you, for the alumni that are here, we have a very special prize for our alumni. So do check that out. But our prices are going up for 2025. So if you want to jump in now and book your course for next year, now is your time. Take advantage of the fact that it's available now and it will be more next year. Take advantage of those savings. And I promise you, you can join those hairdressers who've not been through the program once or twice, 3 times. And what I notice it so many times, when people leave me for a while, they are on a high and then they start to slowly slide to like an average again. But I want you to be your version of outstanding. I want you to be the greatness that you are. It's your measurement, not my measurement. I'm here to serve you. I'm here to help you. But with a strategy and a plan, it can happen. When you set a goal, if you don't have a strategy for getting there, the goal won't happen. Your goal is at the mercy of the strategy, the system that you create to get to that goal. So everything we do is very organized and it has a purpose of helping you climb up that ladder. And what I say is that your greatness is in the stretch. Your greatness is in the challenge. Your fascination as a human being is when you're being pushed. And I always say, just go for it. And when people say, well, Viv, I'm not confident, it's like, okay, well, are you meant to be confident when you're doing something for the first time? No, you're not. Go for it. Do it afraid. I'm there to help you. I'm there to guide you. And then you do it the second time, you think, oh, that wasn't so bad. I made a big fuss out of that. And the third time, it's like, gosh, it's kind of working. And the fourth time, oh my gosh, my clients really love it. And then it goes on and on from there. So I hope that really helps. And I want to bring our Vicky from backstage back again. And Vicky, what would you like to share with our friends before we say goodnight?
New year, new you. So just do it for yourself. Come join us. Come be a guest. Watch how we do it. It's unlike any other online platform because of the 3 ways. So like the class, the hands-on, and then the feedback.
Yeah.
Get that anywhere.
So thank you so much. Vicky, congratulations again. I'm so proud of you. Vicky went for it. She did not give up. She was determined. She's been rewarded many ways. And I keep saying to Vicky, there's so much more greatness in there. And I'm about to unwrap it, baby, because there's magic in this girl. And that's what's exciting, to help people in this way. I want to thank you all tonight for being with me. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed these techniques. Now you know what to do. Practice them. And remember, your home play. 5 guests this week with long hair. Give them an idea. Is a little hair sewing? Is a little bit of a wave in the front? What is it going to be to create that magic? And I look forward to seeing you at one of our events. And as I said, please share this with as many friends as you can. And I thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you so much, and bye for now. And thank you, Vicky, again. Thank you.